Today we're going to cover the game of Sorry. Now there's a lot of different ways a card can be drawn and potential player options. What we're going to do is we're going to look at some strategies and tips to take advantage of certain situations. To start off, the 7 can be split, and this can be used to get a pawn home if you have another pawn on the board. So let's look at this board right here we have with green, and let's say green gets a 7. Well, green can split it and get the first pawn home and then move the second pawn that way. Another tip we can look at here is you want to try to avoid a move that puts you near an opponent's start square. Why is that? Well, if you look at number 1 and 2 below, there's two different ways. If you, let's say green goes to start right here, it makes it a bad move, and there's two different ways red can get rid of green. Now if we fast forward this situation and we look with green has two pieces on the corner, and if they're debating between putting it on the start on the red or the start of the yellow, obviously we take the start on the red, and that's because when we're faced with a choice, we want to take the option with the least amount of risk. If green were to move in front of the red start, green's not going to lose as much space as it would if green would in front of the yellow and the yellow happened to draw a 1 or 2. Our next tip is you want to try to leave the last pawn in the start square and move the other pawns around the board while waiting for a sorry card. And that is the last card right there. So let's look at this board right here. We have green and we have yellow. Now once again we are playing as green, and we get really lucky here. We get a sorry card. Now what can we do with that? Well, we can if you look at yellow's piece in the bottom right hand corner, we can use the sorry card to switch and move yellow back to start. And in this case, green will advance all the way to the bottom right hand corner. So that's a strategy we can look out for there. Now let's look at some other strategies here. One of these is you can try to consider using the 11 and the 4 cards strategically when possible. We're going to look at each one here. First, so let's start off with the 11. Now the 11 allows us to move 11 spaces forward, or we can switch places with one opposing pawn. Let's take this principle into action here. Let's say we have yellow and we have green, and we'd like to move green all the way around, but it's going to take a while. But if we get an 11, instead of going 11 forward, we can just switch with the yellow, and that puts us right near home. Now let's take a look at a potential tip for using the 4 card, and let's say we draw 4 and that says 4 spaces backward. What we'd like to do is we'd like to try to keep one of our pieces around star or on the first piece, like we have with this piece with green right here. And why is that? Well, if we draw the 4 and go 4 spaces backward, we're much closer to home than having to go all the way around the board. So that's another tip to keep in mind there. Now let's look at our final tip here. And in a multiplayer game, you want to consider slowing the leader down with a switch or a sorry card, even if that does not help you out the most. Now let's take a look at this in practice here. First, we'll look at switching places with an opposing pawn. Now we are playing as green, and in this case, red is the leader. It needs to be slowed down for green to have a chance to win the game. Even though switching with yellow might move green further, green's best option here is to slow down red. So let's take a look at one potential thing here. Let's say green gets an 11. Green can switch with red, and that will slow red down. And let's say instead of getting 11, green gets a sorry card. Well, green can hit red's piece that's closest to home, and that'll slow red down and put red back to start and slow red down. And that's one of the things you want to do. And this pretty much wraps up our strategies and tips for the game of Sorry. Hopefully one or two of these will help you out. Thank you for watching.